Folks, this banner is extremely important, so I will do my absolute best. I promise I'm going to do my best to keep this video short and sweet. Should you summon on this weekend's raid up for Narissa and Vorn? The raid up is happening over 2 banners. We have our special Invocation of Spirits banner. This banner requires your blue rare summons and your diamonds. And then we have our special Divine Summoning banner. This is for your Divine Legendary Gold summons. TLDR, this banner is incredibly strong. An absolute top tier banner, one of the best normal banners we have ever had in this game.
Fastidious.
Fastidious.
I would say it is definitively a top 10 normal banner. When I say normal banner, I mean non-limited and non-ancient exclusive. And this banner is so freaking good. So let's dive right in and let me explain why. I do want to start by saying, for certain accounts, I would argue this is a must-pull banner. For some accounts, you can skip it. Really, if you already have these 2 units, you can for sure skip it. And for other accounts, it kind of depends on what you already have. If you already have God tier roles filled with other God tier units, then yeah, go after it. But if you still need certain roles filled, these units are must-haves. Vorn, we'll just start very briefly, is incredibly underrated. His DPS is very good, and his support functionality is out of control. The final important thing is he is the key cog that takes the poison comp from great to unbefrickin' leavable. So do not sleep on Vorn. However, we have to start with Narissa because she's the star of this banner. She has an argument to be the best healer in the game. If you're talking about the best unit in the game that is classified as a healer, that is going to go to Diao-chan or Eluin. But if you're talking about the best unit that does awesome buffing and support, but also puts out a crap load of healing, I do believe that is Narissa. So let's talk Narissa. We'll finish off with Vorn. Narissa is a must-have unit. So to give you perspective, I have Vorn. I do not have Narissa. With the new progressive system, you are incredibly likely, if you're willing to summon up to 2 legendaries, to hit one of these banner units. After that, the progressive rate up is gone, but the way I am approaching this with like my 40,000 diamonds and a handful of rare summons is I will pull for 2 legendaries and hopefully hit a banner unit within those first 2. With the new progressive system, the chance to hit one of the 2 banner units within your first 2 legendaries summoned is over 89%. So basically 90% of the time. So that's something I am going to go for because I so desperately want Narissa and because Vorn has very good awakenings. But let's talk about Narissa. So I want to keep this video short, as I said, so I'm not going to dive incredibly deep into her kit. It's one of the most convoluted kits in the game. I already have a very popular guide and hero breakdown on Narissa you guys can check out. I'll put that thumbnail over here and I'll link the video in the description. And if you want an updated guide on Narissa, I can certainly add that to my docket. All right, I'm going to try to give you the rundown of all the things she is good at. I'm probably going to miss 1 or 2 because the list is like 10, but let's get into it. Her talent is very confusing because every single line is a different talent. Effectively, she has 3 talents. The first one is she applies a signature mechanism, signature buff, signature mark, whatever you want to think of it as, called Abyssal Favor. And Abyssal Favor is crazy strong. She is going to lend this to her ally in her attack range, which is the big, hollow, Fasti, Narissa range. And that ally with the highest attack in her attack range is going to receive 20% inspiration from Narissa. This is an incredible amount of inspiration. She has very high base attack, maybe not very high, significantly high base attack at over 4,600 attack. And as you'll see from one of her passives, it can get a lot higher throughout the battle. So this is a very good way to get inspiration on usually your best DPS in content where you do not have another inspiration hero or where you need your best unit getting a little bit extra inspiration, because the amount of inspiration Narissa can give from this skill to that one ally with the highest attack in her attack range is very significant. On top of that inspiration, when that ally takes damage, they will instantly recover 5% of their HP and grant Narissa 1 point of Black Pearls. More on Black Pearls in a second. This effect can only trigger 1 time every 2 seconds. Also, each trigger increases the HP regen effect that is caused by the Abyssal Favor by 10% up to 100%. So in long battles, after a little bit of time, that ally wearing Abyssal Favor is getting full max HP heals every 2 seconds, potentially, if they're getting hit all the time. It's pretty wacky. It is very, very good support. Let's go to the second talent now. Each single target heal she does is going to grant 1 point of black pearls. Again, what are black pearls? Just think of these as points, and every 1 point, you get a stack of atrophy. What is atrophy? More on that in a moment. Like I said, if you want to dive deep, watch the other video. Finally, maybe the most slept on part of her kit, this is a separate talent. Every single heal she does is going to heal another allied unit in range. So effectively, even though she's a single target healer, everything she does is a 2-target heal. And that is actually very, very strong. If we go to the basic now, very good single target heals, which again are double target heals. Now the ultimate, this is a tricky thing because her at her best for a lot of content never sees her ulting. However, in certain specific content, you can ult with her. The reason you wouldn't want to is when you ult, she loses all of her stacks of atrophy, and that's how she makes herself super powered, essentially. But when you do ult, she's going to do a full instantaneous burst cleanse to all allies in range. So phenomenal for content like Semra, APOC 2, and also she is going to deal many instances of damage. 30 instances of damage. Very, very good. And on top of that, she deals increased damage to shielded targets. Is she going to deal a lot of damage? Almost certainly not, because you're not going to build her for damage, but for content where you just need to spam out a lot of hits, I'm thinking sticks, there is relevance to this. But mostly, only ever use this ultimate when you need that big AoE cleanse. Basically, for most general content, it's just Semra, some other progression things, but the vast majority of the time you will not want to ult with her because she is super powered when she has all those stacks of atrophy piled up. So let's start actually with the second passive to really see what that's all about. We said it takes 4 points of black pearls to get 1 point of atrophy. I know this is getting confusing, but basically when the unit wearing Abyssal Favor gets hit a lot, and when she's doing heals a lot, you're stacking up black pearls, you'll get a lot of points of atrophy, and every 4 points of atrophy, she basically gets a stack of this passive buff. You can call it Dark Onslaught, but just think, get a lot of atrophy, get a big boost. Every 4 points of atrophy, her attack will be increased by 5%, and the damage she takes, all damage she receives, will be reduced by 4%. With skill ups, this goes up a lot, and that is significant. The damage reduction goes up to 8%, and the attack boost goes up to 10%. You can get up to 12 points of atrophy, so effectively, you can get these effects multiplied by 3. So 30% increased attack for her, and 24% reduced incoming damage. She becomes very tanky, so you can lean heavier into attack and attack speed in her build, and her attack gets really high. So the inspiration she gives and the heals she gives are a lot more powerful. And that's why you don't want to ult with her in a lot of content. Moreover, when she has 4 or more points of atrophy, which does not take very long, she is going to place a buff called Increased Healing Received. I believe at the time of filming this, this is a buff unique to her. She's going to give it to all allies in her attack range, plus all allies within one adjacent tile to whichever ally is wearing Abyssal Favor. So usually everyone will be in her attack range, but because it can extend outside of her basic attack range, this can be really strong. It allows a lot of special things where she effectively has this extended attack range, and you can take advantage of that. But the key thing is, this increased healing received is not just increased healing received from Narissa's heals, it's from all heals. So if you're thinking Abyss 1, it will be increased healing from Narissa and Aelin or Draylin or Fasti or whatever you're running. Realistically, it's probably just her and Aelin, but that goes a very long way. This is a really powerful buff, but keep in mind, all these effects will be reset when the ultimate ends. So when you ult, after that, she's going to consume all the atrophy and you lose all these good stacks and all these good boosts. The final passive here, just to finish breaking her down, this is a very special thing. She has AoE damage reduction. This is like Fasti's AoE damage reduction. For her, it's 20%, but if you get her A1, it goes up to 30%. It is very, very good, and this will be applied to all allies permanently in her attack range, plus everyone directly adjacent to whomever is wearing Abyssal Favor. And once again, if you have her A1, it's going to be to all allies in her range and all allies within 2 adjacent tiles from the ally wearing Abyssal Favor. So once again, her extended range becomes very, very spicy. The healing is super strong. The single target inspiration she gives is super strong. If you need the cleansing, it's super strong. The AoE damage reduction is super strong. If it is Styx boss and you need extra hits for some reason, especially for progression, that can be really strong. There is so much in this kit. And then, by the way, the increased healing received, crazy strong. The kit is just so good when it comes to having a lot of support, but also putting out a ton of healing. She is unmatched right now in this game. She is the answer to so many problems. She will help you in so much progression. And then when you reach the end game with the hardest bosses in the game, namely Abyss 1 right now, she is truly God tier. So she's someone you're going to want to have on the roster. I spent way too much time on Narissa, so let's just get into Vorn right now. Let's start with the talent. Can inflict 2 types of poison on the target. What does this mean? Any unit in this game that can deal poison can deal stacks of poison up to 10 stacks, but you only get 1 pile that you can stack those 10 stacks on. The one exception to that rule is Vaughn. He gets to build 2 piles. So 2 piles of 10 stacks. Effectively, he can put out 20 stacks of poison. So that is very relevant, right? He can put out twice as much poison as the average unit. Every time he's putting out new poisons for each stack, he's refreshing the duration. So he does an incredibly good job of maintaining 2 full piles of 10 stacks each of poison. This is a lot of damage in itself, and when it comes to the poison comp and Numera's toxic surge ability, exploding all those poisons, it helps a ton. Combine that with acute poisoning that increases the damage from poison that can be placed by Vixera, Awakened Araka, or certainly Nastia, and you just have so much damage. He is such a key cog to these poison comps. Aside from that, I'm not going to break down the whole kit. Just know he deals a ton of damage. He is a very good magic DPS marksman, very good auto ult here, and it's a full auto, so you don't have to worry too much about it. Putting out tons of damage, tons of poison, increasing his damage based on the stacks of poison out there. So him and another poisoner, he's just dealing so much damage. And then finally, this passive over here, this is the final key thing that makes him so good. He is going to increase the damage he deals to shielded targets by 30%. On top of that, he is applying a shield break buff to the 2 fighter allies with the highest attack on the battlefield. Not in his range, just the 2 fighter allies that are currently deployed with the highest attack. And it is really, really good. On top of that, every time he ults, he's getting more and more magic res penetration. So he is shredding the magic defense. But a really key thing is that shield break buff. So you can see it increases the damage dealt to shielded targets by 30%. He can increase the damage he deals to shielded targets, and he can increase his magic res penetration, but this really key thing is boosting your 2 strongest fighters. Then, if you get him A1, he can now apply that shield break buff to the 3 allied fighters with the highest attack on the battlefield. So very often, you'll be seeing your Kagiri, your Sun Wukong, and your Numera, for example, buffed by this skill, and they will just shred through the shields in a lot of content, namely Abyss 1. The final place I want to end it on Vorn is just showing you the leaderboard so you believe me. If we go to Abyss 1 here, and we go to the world rankings, you will see Vorn, 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 Vorn. And it took till the 13th team to get an Infernal comp, and then the 14th team were right back to Vorn. By the way, if you didn't notice, Narissa, 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 Narissa. No Narissa, kind of spicy here. This is a nice A1 Draylen comp. A1 Draylen's crazy. Narissa, Narissa. Narissa, 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 you get it. These guys, for the hardest content in the game, are absolutely unbelievable. And for the most potent magic DPS comp in the game, the poison comp, you're going to want them both, especially Vorn. And in general, you're just going to want Narissa. So I hope that answers your questions. Should you summon, if you already have a god tier Infernal comp and you already have 1 copy of Narissa, I'd say you can probably skip this. If you don't, you're missing either of these guys, or you're working on an Esotericist comp, or really you just don't have Narissa, you kind of have to summon on this banner. I do want to give one caveat. We have not had a limited banner for over a month now. It's very possible we're going to get another one soon, so keep that in the back of your mind. If you're tight on rare summons and diamonds, maybe you just go for one legendary or only like 100 pulls. Don't overextend yourself if you can't afford to do it and you're very risk averse. Or just go heavy in the divine summons. This is a great banner to use your gold summons, and if you want to be really safe, save your rares and your diamonds. But holy crap, this is such a good banner. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for supporting me. I know it's been a little lighter on the content this week. There is spicy stuff going on now. So if you like Watcher of Realms content, we post like 50 Watcher of Realms videos a month. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I have been Fastidious. One quick reminder that the Tya Market, the official launch, starts at reset tonight in just a couple hours. So if you want to participate, only if you're pay to win, be sure to use my SmileOne link in the description and the top pinned comment, and look out for my exclusive promo code tied to the Tya Market that is coming out tomorrow. Very interesting stuff right now for pay to win players. Think about it, share it with your mother, guys, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.
Fastidious.